Step by Step captured the hearts of audiences with its funny and heartwarming story of a colorful blended family in the 1990s. But behind the laughter on screen lay the tragic fates of its talented cast, with some passing away suddenly and others involved in horrific accidents. In this video, let's explore the stories behind the screen and honor the legacies they left behind. Let's get started. Suzanne Summers as Carol Foster Lambert. Suzanne Marie Summers, birth name Suzanne Mahoney, was born on October 16, 1946, in San Bruno, California. She left a profound mark when she played the warm, funny mother Carol Foster Lambert in Step by Step in 1991, when she was 45 years old. Her radiant beauty and natural acting made her beloved by millions of viewers, but also led her into countless storms. Suzanne's childhood was a series of haunting tragedies, growing up in a working-class Irish-American family with a father who was an alcoholic and who abused her physically and emotionally. Every night she would hold her breath, listening to her father's raging screams, terrified he might kill her at any moment. Beaten and humiliated, Suzanne struggled in desperate fear, to the point where she once had to hit her father on the head with a tennis racket to defend herself after he tore apart her prom dress and hurled insults at her. Those wounds scarred her for life, driving her into a turbulent youth full of painful, conflicted choices. At just 19 years old, Suzanne became pregnant unexpectedly and rushed into marriage, only to divorce quickly and raise her young son alone in hardship. She once had to sell baked goods, work as an unknown model, and then leapt into showbiz as a last lifeline. But when she reached the peak of fame on Three's Company, Summers ended up pushing herself straight into a firestorm of disputes. She demanded equal pay with her male co-star John Ritter and was immediately, harshly fired, becoming a scapegoat for unfair industry contracts, losing job opportunities, and being coldly shunned by the entertainment industry. Behind the spotlight, her marriage was also full of disappointments. Suzanne later remarried Alan Hamill, who had been her former boss and manager, but their relationship carried heavy tensions, from financial pressures after her scandal to conflicts over raising their blended family. Out of desperation, she even agreed to pose nude for Playboy to pay for her son's medical bills after an accident, an action that left her deeply regretful and judged by the public for many years. After these upheavals, Summers courageously came back thanks to Step by Step, and then launched a business career with The Thigh Master and many health books, despite criticism for promoting therapies lacking scientific proof. But pain continued to follow her, as breast cancer struck in 2000 and lingered for 23 years, with many recurrences, mixing hope and despair. Nevertheless, Summers kept up a resilient image, becoming a symbol of faith in healthy living. In October 2023, the cancer returned more aggressively than ever and took Suzanne's life just one day before her 77th birthday. She was laid to rest at Desert Memorial Park, ending a journey full of highs, lows, tragedy, yet also pride. Despite enduring countless shocks in life, she left behind an estimated net worth of around $100 million USD, built through extraordinary efforts in acting, writing, and business. Peggy Ree as Ivy Baker. Peggy Jane Ree, born on March 31, 1921 in Los Angeles, left a memorable impression on audiences when she took on the role of Ivy Baker, a funny, warm, and slightly sharp-tongued grandmother, in Step by Step in 1991, when she was 70 years old. That wholesome, down-to-earth image became an irreplaceable trademark on American television. Before turning to acting, Peggy Ree had studied business and worked as a production secretary at the famous MGM studio, but soon realized her true passion was on stage. She struggled to land her first roles and even had her relationship with collaborator Kay Thompson abruptly cut off due to differences of opinion, plunging her into crisis and forcing her to stand on her own feet in a harsh New York environment. Fortune finally smiled when Ree landed a part in A Streetcar Named Desire, opening up a path full of opportunities. but also heavy pressure, especially as she had to prove her talent in countless supporting roles alongside major stars. When she reached middle age, Rhea continued to face the tough barriers of the entertainment industry, where older women were often ignored or relegated to stereotypical roles. She had openly shared her worries about aging and health while still having to work hard to maintain her position, especially since her finances were not as comfortable as many of her more famous colleagues. That made Rhea's life, though not filled with personal drama, still quietly stressful, with a hidden sense of loneliness and a lingering frustration over a career that never felt fully recognized. Nevertheless, her persistence and love for acting helped Rhea win the hearts of audiences for decades. Her roles as loving, humorous mothers and grandmothers became unforgettable to American viewers, from Grace Under Fire to The Waltons. That was also the strength that helped Peggy Ree overcome feelings of being typecast, proudly affirming the value of supporting actors in a glamorous yet often ruthless world. When age weakened her health, her heart could no longer keep up with the pace of her acting career. Peggy Ree passed away peacefully on February 5, 2011, from heart failure at the age of 89, closing a long journey of dedication. Her estimated net worth was around $2 million at the time of her death, mostly from her long-lasting acting career, a testament to a lifetime of devotion and admirable determination. Al Molinaro, as Al Del Vecchio. Albert Francis Molinaro, born on June 24, 1919, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, won the hearts of viewers when he portrayed Frank Lambert, the father of the main character, in Step by Step in 1991, when he was 72 years old. This role presented a traditional, strict but loving father figure, adding a warm and humorous touch to the hit family sitcom. Born into an Italian family with 10 children, Molinaro's childhood was filled with pressure and hardship. His father, who ran a tavern, was strict and had high expectations, making Al determined from a young age to break free of the family's shadow and prove himself. His schooling was difficult. He had to repeat grades before graduating high school, which left him burdened with shame and pushed him to dream of escaping Wisconsin to find another path. But when he arrived in Los Angeles, Molinaro had to struggle through low-level jobs, from debt collection to real estate dealing, experiencing many bitter failures before he could even come close to an acting career. Molinaro's first marriage to Jacqueline Martin also ended in divorce after they had one son. That breakup left a deep scar on his heart for many years, making him carry a quiet anxiety whenever he thought about family and his responsibility as a father. His career began to thrive with The Odd Couple and later Happy Days, but the pressure to maintain fame, along with loneliness after his divorce, plunged him into extended periods of stress, clinging to work to fill the void. Although he remarried Betty Farrell in 1981, Molinaro still faced old age in the harsh entertainment industry. He feared he would be pushed aside as his health declined, especially since the work required constant travel and filming. That anxiety weighed on him even more because he still longed to play fathers and grandfathers on screen, despite people advising him to slow down. Molinaro often spoke of his fear of being forgotten and sacrificed his own time for self-care just to maintain his public image. In his later years, he continued to appear in commercials and reunion events, even as his body grew increasingly frail. That stubborn dedication made his illnesses worse. By 2015, Molinaro was hospitalized due to gallbladder infection, but his immune system was too weak to fight it off. He passed away quietly on October 30, 2015, at the age of 96, closing a complete and devoted life journey. His estimated net worth at the time of death was around $3 million, saved from his long acting career and a few small investments. Nedra Vultz, as Helen. Nedra Vultz, born on June 18, 1908 in Montrose, Iowa, joined Step by Step in 1991 when she was 83 years old, playing Helen, a nosy, talkative, yet loving neighbor who often humorously meddled in the Lambert family's affairs. She brought an authentic, down-to-earth spirit to the role, making viewers feel as if they were watching a familiar elderly neighbor come to life on screen. Born into a traveling show business family, Nedra had to perform with the troupe from the moment she could barely walk, under the name Baby Nedra, treated almost like an entertainment commodity. That childhood was exhausting and stressful, robbed of the carefree moments every child deserves, shaping her into a tough yet deeply vulnerable person. After leaving the circus, Nedra faced many failures trying to break into school theater, and had to sing in small bands to survive, enduring long, unstable years while struggling to find her place. Very little is known about Nedra's personal life, but behind her petite figure was a woman carrying deep, quiet loneliness. Her career stretched over decades, yet mostly consisted of supporting roles, leaving her with feelings of being overlooked and sometimes disheartened. Devoting herself to acting meant sacrificing marriage, and she was never able to build a true family home, which only deepened the sense of isolation in her old age. In some interviews, Nedra admitted that sometimes she had the spotlight but no one really there, a painfully honest reflection. Even into her 80s, Nedra did not slow down, taking on guest roles in films, commercials, and many TV shows. That non-stop workload, combined with the pressure to maintain a sharp public image, eventually wore down her health and opened the door for Alzheimer's disease. This cruel illness gradually stole her memory, transforming a quick-witted, lively woman into a completely dependent patient, the most heartbreaking tragedy for both Nedra and her loved ones. In her final years, she lived almost entirely unaware of those around her, unable to care for herself, as the once strong heart of a lifelong artist slowly gave out. On January 20th, 2003, Nedra passed away quietly in Mesa, Arizona, at the age of 94, closing a journey of nearly a century of dedication. Her estimated net worth at the time of death was around $1 million USD, mostly earned from her tireless 8-decade acting career. David Graff as Dave Edwards. David Graff, born on April 16, 1950 in Zanesville, Ohio, appeared in Step by Step in 1991 when he was 41 years old, playing Eddie, a cheerful, sometimes clumsy neighborhood police officer who was always eager to help the Lambert family. Even as a supporting character, Eddie was loved for his honest, straightforward personality, bringing both humor and a sense of community spirit to the show. Growing up in a middle-class family, David nurtured big dreams while studying theater at Otterbein College, but he faced countless challenges breaking into acting. During the early 1980s, he struggled through bit parts, worked side jobs to survive, and endured many unstable years when he nearly gave up on his passion altogether. Financial pressures grew even heavier when he and his wife welcomed their first child, leaving David sleepless many nights as he juggled family responsibilities with small gigs all over the place. David's marriage to Catherine Graff looked peaceful from the outside, but it too went through many tests. The couple had to live apart for periods due to his dense filming schedule, which led to conflicts and misunderstandings. David himself once admitted that he sometimes felt stuck, torn between being a husband, a father, and pursuing his acting dreams. A sweet burden, as he called it, but also extremely stressful. After his breakout success with Police Academy, David found himself typecast as the funny cop, making it difficult to branch out into other roles, which put more pressure on him to prove himself in new projects. The constant work, along with his duties representing the Screen Actors Guild, steadily drained his health without him even realizing it. Friends recalled that David often complained of exhaustion, but he kept going out of a sense of responsibility to his fans and his family. Tragedy struck suddenly on April 7, 2001, when David died of a heart attack at his brother-in-law's wedding in Arizona, just days before his 51st birthday. Fans were shocked, as he had been believed to be healthy and full of energy. David was buried at Forest Rose Cemetery in Ohio. His estimated net worth was about $3 million USD, mostly from the huge success of Police Academy and television appearances like Step by Step. Longo as Tony. Anthony Longo, born on August 19, 1961 in Jersey City, New Jersey, appeared in Step by Step in 1991 when he was 30 years old, playing Lucille's boyfriend, a big, gentle, but somewhat goofy guy who brought plenty of laughs through his charming physical comedy and sincere expressions. This character, standing 6'6" and weighing around 310 pounds, made a mark on viewers thanks to his friendly, warm-hearted image, adding even more fun to the Lambert family's comedic world. Since childhood, Longo had struggled with being teased about his enormous size, which left him with a sense of inferiority that lasted into adulthood. Although determined to pursue his passion for acting, he was constantly typecast as a bouncer, a gentle giant, or a simple-minded heavy, which gave him steady work but also made him yearn to be recognized as a true actor rather than just for his body. He often shared with friends how painful it was to feel like the industry only saw him as a giant teddy bear, ignoring his depth and talent. Longo's marriage to Jamie Briggs lasted 23 years and seemed happy, but faced its own tensions due to his packed filming schedule, their time apart, and his worsening health. Tony had to be hospitalized several times for heart failure and kidney issues, but still forced himself to keep working so he wouldn't lose roles, even against doctors' warnings. His wife once recalled that Tony was afraid to stop working because he'd be forgotten, a fear that drove him into a harsh cycle where passion and survival constantly pulled him apart. At the height of his career, Longo still lived with insecurities about his size, worrying that his weight would wear him down faster, yet he didn't have the courage to change his habits. This only worsened as he moved into his 50s, with a weakening heart and more obvious medical problems. Loved ones repeatedly urged him to rest, but he insisted on keeping up his acting to maintain the kind-hearted giant image fans adored. On June 21, 2015, Longo passed away in his sleep at his home in Marina del Rey at just 53 years old due to congestive heart failure and kidney disease. Tony Longo's estimated net worth at the time of his death was around $2 million USD, mostly thanks to his many supporting roles in dozens of films and television shows. Patrick Duffy as Frank Lambert. Patrick Duffy, born on March 17, 1949, joined Step by Step in 1991 when he had just turned 44 years old, playing Frank Lambert, a widowed father, strong and responsible, yet full of humor and kindness. Frank stood as the anchor of a complex blended family, trying to unite 6 kids from both sides with his new wife Carol Foster, creating funny yet realistic family situations. Duffy portrayed Frank with great skill, letting viewers see both his firm discipline and his loving, warm heart, determined to build a new home for the children after they had lost their mothers. But behind the spotlight, Patrick Duffy's life held almost unimaginable heartbreak. In 1986, at the peak of his fame playing Bobby Ewing on Dallas, both of his parents were brutally murdered in a robbery at their small family bar in Montana. That painful, unexpected loss completely shattered him, leaving a deep emptiness in his heart. Duffy later shared that the trauma haunted him for years, leading to insomnia, depression, and even thoughts of giving up everything if it weren't for his family and the strength of his Buddhist faith. Duffy's marriage to Carlin Rosser was not all smooth sailing either, even though it seemed perfect from the outside. They had come together while Carlin was 10 years older than him and a respected ballet dancer, which sparked gossip and doubts. Alongside the demands of a busy career, Duffy had to learn how to balance work, fame, and his role as husband and father of 2 sons. Their differences in lifestyle and age sometimes pushed them to the brink of conflict, but in the end, their love and understanding kept them together for over 4 decades. The heartbreak did not stop there. In 2017, Carlin Rosser, the woman who had stood by him through his darkest times, died after an illness. This loss crushed Duffy, who had described Carlin as "my breath." He fell into deep loneliness and confusion, and it took him a long time to accept the idea of living without his partner. Part of what helped him heal was continuing his Buddhist practice, the belief in karma and meditation routines that had supported him for many years. In recent years, Patrick Duffy has found new happiness with Linda Pearl, an old colleague, which became a way to heal his broken heart after so many losses. He continues to live a simple, mindful life, keeping up with exercise and meditation, overcoming the pressures of aging through inner strength. For him, the most important thing now is to treasure every moment with loved ones, friends, and the audience who have accompanied him through his long artistic journey. Today, at 76 years old, Patrick Duffy is still considered a respected icon of American television. His estimated net worth is around $14 million USD, mainly from the legendary Dallas, Step by Step, and other directing and producing projects. Sasha Mitchell as Cody Lambert. Sasha Sergei Mitchell, born on July 27, 1967, first joined Step by Step in 1991 when he was just 24 years old, playing Cody Lambert, an optimistic, innocent, yet incredibly kind and skilled martial artist, the nephew of Frank Lambert. Cody brought both laughter and touching moments to viewers through his portrayal of a loving brother and uncle, quickly becoming the comedic heart of the series thanks to Mitchell's natural performance and a bad boy handsome look with a soft side. However, behind Cody's sweet and gentle image, Sasha Mitchell's real life was full of turbulence. During his marriage to his first wife, Jeanette Robbins, Mitchell was charged with domestic violence and endangering children after a physical altercation in 1996. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation, community service, and mandatory anger management classes. And after violating a court order, he served 30 days in jail. Even though Mitchell later insisted he was only trying to protect his kids from his wife's addiction issues, the case ruined his reputation and led to him being fired from Step by Step, a stain on his career that was hard to erase. After their divorce, Mitchell was granted custody of his 4 children, but the legal battles and harsh public scrutiny left deep emotional scars. He tried to rebuild his life through martial arts, a passion since childhood, and took on action roles in films like Kickboxer 2 and Class of 1999 2, The Substitute, but the spotlight never returned as brightly as before. In 2010, Mitchell remarried Rachel, also known as Charmaine Rayner, but that marriage ended as well in 2015, making his personal life even more unstable. You could say that despite his love for martial arts and acting, Mitchell has never fully escaped the shadow of the family scandal that followed him throughout his career. Today, at age 58, Sasha Mitchell rarely appears in public, spending most of his time with his family, and occasionally taking independent film projects or teaching martial arts to keep his passion alive. His current estimated net worth is about $2 million USD, largely from his peak years on Step by Step, his martial arts movies, and a few smaller TV gigs later on. Stacy Keenan as Dana Foster. Stacy Keenan, born Anastasia Love Sigorsky on June 6, 1975 in Devon, Pennsylvania, began appearing on Step by Step in 1991, when she was just 16 years old, taking on the role of Dana Foster, a smart, sharp, strong-willed girl who often clashed with her stepfather, Frank Lambert's opinions. In the show, Dana represented the image of a bright, ambitious teenager who could be a bit stubborn, but always driven by ideals and the desire to prove herself, helping make Stacy a familiar face to audiences through 7 years of broadcast. Before that, Stacy had already started acting quite early at age 5, working as a child model in major ads for Hershey's Kisses, Burger King, and My Little Pony. At age 12, she had a breakthrough with the role of Nicole Bradford in the sitcom My Two Dads, 1987 to 1990, building her name in American TV. After My Two Dads, she tried her luck in Going Places, which was not very successful, and it was Step by Step that truly turned her into a standout teen star of the early 1990s. Even though she achieved a lot while still very young, Stacy chose not to stay in showbiz for the long haul. After Step by Step ended in 1998, she continued to take a few small roles in television and independent films, but gradually felt her passion was shifting. Around 2002, she returned to college, graduating summa cum laude with a degree in art history and French at UCLA before pursuing a law degree. Becoming a lawyer was not an easy road for Stacy. She graduated from Southwestern Law School, passed the California bar in 2013, and began a career as a prosecutor, working on many serious criminal cases involving violence and homicide. Her litigation skills and disciplined, diligent work helped her gradually build a reputation in the legal field, a field that requires a tough mindset and steel nerves, far from the glamorous world of Hollywood. Since 2016, she has been working at the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, and in 2021, she also became a part-time lecturer at Southwestern Law School, specializing in trial skills and practical criminal law. In 2022, Stacy began running special seminars on handling DUI cases, earning praise for her clear, real-world teaching approach. Today, at age 50, Stacy Keenan is still working as both a prosecutor and a lecturer, respected by colleagues for her solid background, strong reasoning skills, and reputation built through years of effort. Her current estimated net worth is about $2 million USD, coming from both her time as a teen TV star and her stable income in the legal profession. Christine Leaken as Al Lambert. Christine Leaken, born on January 25, 1979, joined the series Step by Step in 1991 when she was just 16 years old, taking on the role of Alicia Al Lambert, Frank Lambert's strong, spirited, and somewhat tomboyish daughter. Al was the kind of character that audiences easily fell in love with thanks to her intelligence, independence, and also her warmth, always trying to navigate and blend into the complicated mix of step-siblings in her newly blended family. This role made Leaken a familiar face to American viewers throughout the 1990s and opened up many opportunities for her later career. Although she rarely got caught up in scandals, Christine Leaken's journey growing up was not entirely easy. As a famous child star in her teenage years, she had to face the pressure of maintaining a certain image, forcing herself to grow through adolescence under the harsh spotlight and public scrutiny. That early fame sometimes left Leaken feeling lost, afraid she would no longer be loved once she grew out of her teenage roles. After Step by Step ended, Christine went through a stressful period struggling to find new roles. Although she participated in numerous film and television projects, she was typecast as the tomboy girl, making it hard to break free. The 2008 movie The Hottie and the Naughty, where she transformed herself into an ugly girl alongside Paris Hilton, was harshly criticized by reviewers and turned out to be a painful setback that made Leaken doubt herself. Christine's married life, on the other hand, brought her a sense of peace and stability, becoming a solid anchor after all her career turbulence. She married actor Brandon Breault in 2014, and together they built a family, welcoming two little angels in 2016 and 2018. Christine often shared that becoming a mother had helped her mature, learning to appreciate simple things, which also helped her shed the pressures of showbiz and rediscover creative joy. In recent years, Leaken has gradually shifted into directing and voice acting, producing many successful television projects like The Goldbergs and Puppy Place, proving her talent and versatility. Her forward-thinking spirit, hard-working habits, and willingness to experiment have kept her steady in the harsh entertainment world, where many other child stars were forgotten. In 2025, at age 46, Christine Leaken is still full of energy, continuing to pursue her passion through directing, voice work, and caring for her happy little family. Her estimated net worth of around $2 million USD, accumulated from acting, directing, and voiceover work, is proof of a resilient, scandal-free, and determined journey that has kept her a beloved name for the 90s and 2000s generation. The journey of the cast of Step by Step is truly a colorful portrait, from heartbreaking tragedies to brilliant successes, leaving an unforgettable mark on fans' hearts. Which character do you love the most in Step by Step? Share your memories and join the discussion with us in the comments today. Which actor or memory from the show has stayed with you the most? Share your thoughts below.